All right, let's get started.
Whoa. We're back for our second episode.
That's crazy.
Second episode and we still are sharing mic.
Good times.
Good times.
I
I'm
love
definitely
it.
gonna figure out mic issues later tonight, so.
So today I'm wearing Kitty Ross, and he's here to help me be more wise. He was an apprentice of Bob Ross, and he's teaching me a lot. And I,
Oh, good lord.
for this episode specifically, I need to come with the wisdom of your oldest uncle. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Or
I need to
just
be.
older sister. Why do you have to be an uncle?
I just feel
Aunt.
like the type that travel the world, and they know what's up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Cool. I came as Brooke Burns, and nobody else. I'm gonna give you probably some shitty advice, and hopefully it works.
So that is the topic of today's episode. We are going to be giving our Instagram followers advice. So we put it out on our Instagram stories. We said, hey, what's some advice you guys need?
We put it out and y'all answered.
Y'all came through. And with
Seriously.
lots of different topics that you guys need advice on. A lot of similar stuff, but that's totally fine. We're all struggling with the same things, apparently.
I have so much to choose from. Like,
Which is great. Thank you so much for everyone who answered those. It's good to have, like, options, lots to talk about, whatever.
hopefully we answer your question.
Yeah.
Let's
so,
start.
I'm Taylor.
I'm Brooke.
You can follow
No,
our...
you're Kitty Ross.
But come on, please. You can follow our Instagrams. They're down in the bio below, along with our TikToks as well. And yeah, you should follow them because this is not going to be the last time we're giving advice on here. So if you want to be included in the next one, hop over to our Instagrams and you can participate.
Cool. Who shall start? Me?
Yeah.
I'll read one. Somebody. Let me see, actually. Ooh, okay, let's start with a fun one. This came from somebody on my Instagram.
Yeah, we're not exposing it, bro. Just say what
Okay.
it is.
Okay. So for the first one, we have on outfits for the first date. What should you wear on the first date? I think, personally, it all depends, like, what the date is. If it's something casual, like, obviously don't overdress.
Yeah, okay, so it depends on, like, what you're doing, where you're going. But at the end of the day, I'm always going to say keep it casual.
Me too. Same.
You're on that. You're like, me too.
Yeah, because I totally agree. Because I can just picture, like, imagine, like, he's just like, yeah, let's go to the park or something. And, yeah, they're back to 7th grade. And then he just shows up in, like, a fucking button-down shirt, dress pants.
Like, that's not going to mix with the
Like, are we going to church or are we going to the park? You decide. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely think keeping it casual. That means, like, seriously, like, jeans, t-shirt.
Keep
like,
it
still
casual,
dress nice.
but dress within your personality and the way you
Yeah.
normally dress. Like, I would just say don't overthink it. You know what I mean? Because I feel like what you're wearing is the least important thing about a first date. It's about getting to know somebody. It's more about the personality. It's like...
Yes, but it also, on the first date, it's also important because I feel like it establishes something about a person.
True, but I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, don't put so much onto this because at the end of the day, it's just your clothes. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do agree.
It's, like, that's not going to make up if you have a terrible personality and can't make a couple jokes. Like,
Yeah, even if you're dressed like hot shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And you know what? Like, I don't know. Like, how was...
I think that's
Probably.
that's a solid answer. Let's move on to the next one. Let's have you choose one.
Okay, yeah. Okay, you know what? This one, I'm not so sure I'm going to be able to give the greatest advice on because I struggle with it too. How to never run out of things to say.
Oh.
Oh!
I think, okay, I have an answer.
Okay.
I think that it's good if you have things to run out to say. In my opinion.
What the hell are you
we
talking about?
Are we talking about being on a date?
Yeah, like in general,
Yes.
or speaking to people, like,
Okay,
that
if
you
we're
work
talking,
with even.
If we're talking about being in person, okay, see, you're switching it. So it's
So
making
there's so many different scenarios.
making my answer sounds stupid. If we're talking about, like, you're getting to know somebody and this is, like, you're hanging out with them or something, it's almost like I'd want to be with somebody where, like, having silence or not talking is comfortable. You know what I mean? And not feeling that pressure, because I've been on dates and stuff where it's like you're both sitting there and you know each other trying to think of things to say, and it's awkward.
That's what's gonna happen every first date. You're not gonna automatically be comfortable in silence with someone.
But you didn't say
you've got to grow to.
You didn't say first date on this. You just said even our coworkers.
Okay, but I'm quite sure that this is what people are talking about. That they're on dates with people and they're like, how are you not going to run out of things to say? Okay. You know what? I don't think it's bad to ever go into things with, like, a little bit of a list. You know what I mean? Like, some topics
Taylor's
and things you can
planner.
talk about. I like to be prepared. Otherwise, it's going to make me feel more anxious if I'm not.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? You also just have to let the conversation flow the way it's meant to be.
Mm-hmm. Because if you're actually, like, meant to be with that person or just whatever, like, you're supposed to date them for a bit of time, if you guys are actually truly compatible, like, the conversation will naturally flow.
Yeah. Is it just me, or do awkward silences happen in between people that you're not that compatible with?
Yeah.
Because you run out of things to say. Like, you stop relating to things.
And also, like, I feel like there doesn't need to be so much pressure on just you, because there's two people in the relationship. The other person's going to be saying things too. And, like, it's not an interview, you know? It's back and forth. It's conversation.
And you're not weird if you run out of things to say. Like, I feel like that's a very normal thing. Mm-hmm. And just to keep in mind that someone else is on the other end of this too. And they're nervous too. And they're probably thinking the same things.
Yeah.
I mean, I have met a few people in my life where they are just talkers and they're naturally just those types of people. Me and they're good at it.
I went out with someone and they were so good at conversation. I was just like, I feel like I was so awkward, and I'm like, thank the Lord this person's picking up the conversation, because I was not doing a good job.
Yeah.
Till I got comfortable.
But honestly, like, at the end of the day, don't overthink it, and just when you don't overthink it, I feel like that's when it's more natural. And when you really are paying attention to what someone's saying, you're gonna be like, oh, I relate to that one little thing you said here. Or, oh my God, I know someone who went to that school too.
Yeah.
Or, like,
if you're not overthinking, you're actually paying attention to the conversation, it'll go
It's just going to be natural. But if you're just thinking of, oh my God, what do I say next? What do I say next? Then you're going to get those awkward pauses.
Yep. Shall we move on to the next one? I feel like that one's thoroughly answered.
Yeah.
What to choose from? There's so many good ones. I think this person just said closure. I feel like that one's a good thing to talk about.
Advice on closure. Everyone has different needs, and closure is going to mean something different to everybody.
Right.
For some people, that's blocking somebody on every social media platform and absolutely ridding them of your life, and you're like, closure.
Closure.
You know what I'm saying? And for other people, they need to be like, I need to sit down and talk to you about what happened.
I feel like it all depends how the situation went down and what position you were in. Because if you were the one that, like, ended things, closure for you might just be just that, like, blocking somebody. But if you're the one, like, being left in the dark, then it's almost like you need sometimes more closure than the other person would.
Yeah. Like, you need to talk things out, discuss things. Like,
how do you deal with closure? How have you?
I personally never like to leave things on bad terms. I like to leave things with people in a very, like, civil spot where if I were to see them out in public, it's not going to be weird.
Yeah.
So for me, I like a conversation. Mm-hmm. And I like to say, like, hey, like, I like to be clear on both ends.
Yeah.
Because
I think that's, like, the maturity in you coming out, though. Like, you being mature. Because
with my cat afro shirt. So mature.
No, he's giving you the wise inner soul you need to be.
I need to be wearing Yoda, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know. How have I dealt with it? Not in the best way. I don't know. I feel like I avoid communication like that because I never want to annoy the other person. I haven't really found, like, a good balance, I don't think, in relationships to, like, be able to say what I want to say and, like, know that I'm an individual and I deserve certain things without me always worrying about the other person. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I'll be like, oh, I'll just suck it up and always wonder and stuff like that. Yeah. Because I'd rather not make the other person uncomfortable.
And that's the worst thing you could do.
It is. So,
like, let's be real.
The advice is don't follow Brooke.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I feel like for closure, do what you need to do. And then when you feel like you found that inner peace, then you can leave it behind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't be thinking, well, is this person okay with me now? And is this and that. Like, you can't be thinking about other people when you're the one looking for closure.
Yeah. I agree.
And sometimes you don't need to have a conversation with people to have closure. Like, sometimes you can just do your own work on the situation and internalize what happened, and you be okay with it yourself forgive yourself for whatever happened, and that can also be considered closure.
I feel like that's more me. I'm like more of a slow mover. I might struggle with like situations at first and stuff, but a couple months later I'll be able to look back at the situation and like not feel so hurt. You know?
That's good, yeah. It's different for everyone, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
How to deal with a new environment. College.
Ooh.
Oof. See, we have limited college experience.
Mm-hmm.
So, but in general, new environments are scary.
They're really scary. They put me at
uncomfortable.
Yeah, they make me anxious.
Oh, they raise my anxiety like no other. But how do you deal with it?
Literally one step at a time. Because if you start, like, if knowing me, like, I overthink a lot, like, with new places and stuff like that. I get really anxious about, like, how things look, who's going to be there, what people look like. I'm really particular about that kind of stuff. So if I just take it one step at a time, like, okay, I'm just going to drive there. I'm just going to do this, take my seat, like, things like that, then I get through it a little bit easier.
That's true. Also, give yourself time. Like, it's going to be so weird when you're in a new environment for the first time, and it's going to take you however long to, like, warm up, in a sense.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, like, what we've been saying so much already is to recognize that there's so many other people in the exact same position as you. I think a lot of the times we think we're alone in everything that we're doing, or we're the only ones that feel a certain way, when at the end of the day, so many other people are nervous too.
Yeah.
And uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, you're going to be walking around that place at the end of the year, like, you know where everything is. You're going to be so confident. And when you go back for another year, you're just going to be like, this is great. And one day you're going to leave that place and that environment, and then you're going to have to be uncomfortable somewhere new. Mm-hmm. And you're going to be like, damn, I just wish I could go back to that place that I'm comfortable with.
Exactly, because that's happened to us, like, even now.
Yeah.
You know? You get used to things, and I think once you realize that, then you'll be fine, you know? You kind of calm yourself down a little bit anyway.
You could always, like, do things, too, that make you feel more comfortable. Like, doing those things alone are super scary, so making a friend or finding someone maybe that you used to go to high school with who's also there for the first time.
Yeah, and I would definitely say, like, don't, like, close yourself off to things, because you always hear about people, like, join the teams, join the clubs, get involved. But seriously, your experience is so much better when you, like, feel like you're involved in a community, when you talk with people.
Yeah.
It just changes, like, you become happier.
I feel like when you're in a new environment, try to look at it through a lens as best as possible of excitement, and being like, you know, this is good for me. This type of change is healthy. It's normal. And I think what you said initially is perfect. Just take it one step at a time. Try not to, like, overwhelm yourself. And you got this.
Yeah.
And soon, one day, you're going to be super comfortable there. Promise.
Dope.
Next question.
Okay, so this person asked, how do I stop dry texting?
I feel like that's so interesting because you're clearly aware.
Yeah, you're aware that you're a dry texter, that you've been doing it. So, I don't even know, because, like, to me, whenever I take someone as, like, dry texting, I take it as they're not interested.
Same.
So if you really like somebody, you're going to be a dry texter, you know?
But and I get that, but they're trying to say, I think, that it's not a result as whether I like you or not. It's just that I'm naturally a dry texter. Like, what do I do about that? I mean, you could try to convert your conversations to people with FaceTime. If maybe you're, like, texting isn't your thing, or, like, Snapchat videos.
Yeah, girls like that. Like,
I don't know.
Like, when you send, like, audio voice, like, messages, I know girls like that.
Yeah.
And, like, videos and stuff, they think it's funny. But, like, I think that if you're, like, with somebody in the room with you while you're texting this person, you find yourself, like, dry texting, talk to the person that's right there with you and get advice right then and there, like, how should I respond to this? I've done that with Taylor so many times.
Yeah.
And she's helped me out, and I've been like, oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Because I bring a new perspective.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Maybe, like, challenge yourself, too, and, like, try to say 4 or more words, like, something like that. Or try...
Don't just respond with, yeah.
Yeah, or try to start being okay with double texting, or asking a question, or trying... Just putting the effort into being more interesting, honestly,
And,
I
like,
think
involved.
you got it.
Yeah, you'll be great.
Because you're clearly aware you're doing it, so just put more effort in.
I really hope our camera doesn't die because it's been doing that lately.
No, we're good.
Okay. Go ahead.
I couldn't find it yet, but I know sort of what I'm looking for. Yes, this one. I thought this one was super interesting. How to live and not survive. So how do you look at life as less of a survival thing?
Such a deep question.
And just a living thing. And this one I had been thinking about all day already.
Oh, so you have some thought on it.
I know what I'm going to say. And for you, I'm going to say this. Because there was other questions similar to this. People dealing with, like, getting by every day. And how do you look at life in a more fun type of perspective? For me, what I've come to learn, and I learned this on TikTok, and I've applied it to my days, and it makes a big difference, and that is realizing that at the end of the day, it's the little small things that what makes up life.
I knew you were going to say that.
So, the smallest thing, like, I was late for work one day, and I was about to reverse out of the driveway, and Mom came running out with my water bottle. And she was like, you almost forgot your water bottle for work, like, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my God, that was the cutest thing. That she remembered my water bottle for me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you look at that, and you let that control your happiness, and be like, that's the most random small little thing, but I feel happy now.
Right.
Random things like that. We were driving the other day, and we got an advanced green at the light. So we got to go and just go right away. And we were like, I was like, woo, advanced green. Like, random things like that, I think, is what will make up life, and you won't feel like you're just surviving at some point.
I think that, like, goes hand in hand with, like, gratitude, like, just being grateful and stuff. Having a gratitude journal, like, really makes you realize just, like, being grateful for the small things. It's like what you're saying, too, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm grateful that I get a nice breeze in my freaking window because I have nice trees.
Yeah.
All back there. You know what I mean?
Or like,
something like that.
I found $5 on the ground today.
Yeah.
Or like, a friend I haven't talked to in a while reached out to me. Like, those little things are what life is.
It's almost like you're paying attention more to the present moment. You're not getting, like, lost. So, like, being on, like, social media, just scrolling, it's, like, such a mindless thing. Like, stop doing mindless tasks, I would say, too. Like, do things that are, like, right in the moment.
Yeah. Because... yeah, and I would also say maybe to challenge your routines a bit. Because sometimes really bland routines and doing the same thing each day, every day, over and over, and nothing changing, you're just going to be like, damn, like, I'm just surviving. Like, I woke up, it's daylight, all of a sudden it's nighttime again.
Right.
It's going to feel like that. You need to do things to change it up. Otherwise... fuck yeah, like, that shit gets boring.
Yeah. I think why a lot of people get stuck into that, like, so, like, they're just surviving and not living, is because it takes a lot of work and energy to change things about your day, or to notice things, to change your mind and, like, your habits and things like that. It's, like, it's work. Like, did I want to wake up at 7 a.m. today to get my butt moving? Heck no.
No.
I put my alarm on, snooze, and I didn't get out of bed for, like, 40 minutes. I was slow as heck.
But that's the thing, is that you have to be committed to what you want out of it. And if you want to feel... oh, sorry, my laptop got fucked up. At the end of the day, if you know what you're trying to feel, then you have to be able to apply yourself to do that.
Yeah.
Because no one else is going to make you, you know?
Sure.
You have the choice to feel like however you want your life to feel, honestly. I hope that was good enough advice, honestly.
Okay, so, we'll each do, like, one more, maybe?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, like, I want to do one about relationships, you know?
Yeah, same.
Like, I see girls being myself. Relationships, should we just... no, I feel like I need something more specific.
Yeah.
How about this? How to get over my first love who did me wrong.
Ooh. See, I've never had, like, a first love, but I've definitely had, like, a first infatuation where I thought it was gonna lead into some sort of relationship like that.
True.
And getting over that shit is the hardest thing I think I've ever done.
Getting over what?
Some sort of relationship with someone that you thought was gonna go somewhere.
Oh.
I mean, I've never gotten over a first love, though. I'm sure that's completely different.
Yeah, probably. I can't even begin to imagine, because you grow so close to a person, like, and then it's always over so quickly, you know, because obviously breakups don't happen, like, whatever.
Cleanly, yeah. So always.
Yeah.
I think what most people are going to find obvious is that there's not one answer. There's multiple stages, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like healing from grief. Like, you know how, like, you deal with you're in
5
denial,
stages.
and then you're in this, and then da-da-da.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes, for some people, I think it's listening to sad music for a week. And then going out and hanging out with friends and, like, being with people that distract you from that.
Yeah.
A bit. Or...
I don't know. For me, though, like,
I
think that it's, like, you always have to work through it, like, by yourself. Like, at some point, you have to work through it by yourself because, yes, you can, like, surround yourself with family and friends and things you love to do, but at some point, those are just distractions.
Yeah.
And you always hear then, you know, as soon as they lay down at night, they think about it, and that's when they're upset. It's because that's when you're alone and stuff, and you haven't worked on it.
At some point, you're going to be alone, and that shit is going to cross your mind.
Yeah. I don't even know.
The cringiest, most classic answer is time. That shit's gonna take time.
Yeah.
And I think it's okay to always, at some point, be like, I'm always gonna love this person a little bit. They're always gonna be in my heart a little bit. I'm always gonna have love for them. But to have love for someone and not to be in love with them are two different things. And at one point, I think you're gonna get to that point where you have love for them, but you're okay seeing them with someone else.
Wow. Taylor's talking like a true genius, and she's never even experienced it.
I think I give great advice.
It's because she reads too many romance novels.
Yeah.
She just knows about it.
I know. What else could you do?
I was going to say hit us with another question. I feel like that... what else can you do? I said work on it. Work on it through yourself.
Good luck.
Journal about it. Buy a freaking self-help book. I don't know.
Yeah. Use what I taught you guys a few videos ago. When you're overthinking, write, and when you're underthinking, read a book. Okay? So, hopefully that'll help you. I'm sorry, I've never been through a first love situation. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll try my best in that area.
If we're talking about relationships that almost happened, I can talk about that one.
Yeah. That almost
Taylor.
relationship, then we can talk about it.
Yeah, that's all I've ever experienced. Almost relationships.
Okay, let's do a question that can be more for ourselves, more for the girlies.
For the girls.
How to focus on self-love, self-growth, without needing male validation in a relationship. Male validation has been one of the most confusing things in my entire life because at some point I don't need it, and then at other points I'm like, look at me. My whole entire existence is made up off of male validation. Fuck them.
Literally. It's because boys are just so hot, and I'm just like... I just want them to say, like, tell me that I'm, like... You want them to tell you things. You want to feel, like...
And that's
sure
not
of yourself.
bad.
It's not bad, but it's bad when it's all you depend on.
Yeah. You have to draw a line somewhere.
It goes with everything. There has to be balance.
Everyone loves a nice compliment here and there, but at the end of the day, you have to be the one complimenting yourself over everything.
Yeah.
So how can you focus on self-growth?
Even the little smile.
How can you?
I don't know, because, like, I feel like I'm not even fully there. I think, oh my god, I'm just gonna sound so repetitive. It always takes time, though, like, because you end up learning so much about yourself, and, like, I don't know, you're still, like, learning yourself before you're in a relationship, or even during a relationship, you know?
That's why I've always said, and we've both agreed on this, when you're in a relationship, you're still two individuals.
Literally, I'll always say that.
What most people need to realize is, like, self-growth doesn't have, like, oh, I'm trying to get here, and then this is where it ends. There's no ending, like, stopping point of self-growing. Like, you're always going to be, when you're 40, when you're 25, you're still going to be growing and doing things for yourself. So I don't think you need to be at a certain point before all of a sudden now you're in a relationship.
Yeah.
Because you're always going to be growing. But
it's hard, though, because then, you know, at some point, like, you have to be okay with being with the person and still understanding that you're still growing. Because, you're like you said, you're never going to stop. Our camera died.
Okay.
Who knows where we were left off on? What was
We were talking about self-love and growth without the male validation.
Was that your last question?
Yeah.
Wow.
Girly, you need to listen to some boss ass bitch music. I love doing that. I always put on a playlist when I'm in the mood, you know what I mean? And I put on a playlist that's like girly vibes. I don't need no man.
Yeah, doing something that like makes you feel good about yourself just as like an individual is really empowering, I would say, and to do. Like, I love like working out or going on a run and listening to boss ass bitch music.
Yeah.
I feel like a baddie when I get back. I'm like, ooh, girl, you ran that far and you did good.
Yeah.
Or like if you, I don't know, buy something for yourself or
and doing stuff like that often. You know what I mean? And I saw this great trick too where if you ever feel like you're maybe too caught up in male validation, think back to your younger self and what it's like being a kid and how you just live life without any expectations. You don't care what anyone else thinks of you, all that type of stuff. And once in a while, I'll think back to my younger self and be like, I need to live like her more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because kids are just so like they're not aware. Like, you know what I mean?
They're unbiased. They're wholesome. And
you just do wholesome things. You don't even realize it's wholesome.
Innocent. Like, try to come from that perspective where it's you at the end of the day.
You know why? Because I think, like, when you're a kid, you just live in the present. Like, you don't know really that there's a tomorrow. Not real. Like, you know what I mean, though? Like, it's not like when you're older, you're like, oh, at the end of the week on Friday, I have a presentation. You don't look at life in terms of, like, certain measures like that. As a kid, you're just like, oh, I woke up today, I'm going to go play in the creek.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just don't think about it. So I feel like I like what you're saying.
Yeah. Continue trying to, like, live a life like that. Look at life through your younger self's eyes. And have your own back first. Be your own best friend. And then let the world come to you. Because they will. They will see how amazing you are. Okay. That's all we have for today. That was our first ever advice session. If you like it, guys, please give us a thumbs up. Comment below more things that maybe we should talk about in the future. And we're definitely going to have to do a part 2 to this because there were so many questions and we hardly made a dent in all the questions.
I know. I was just going through, I'm like, getting confused at what I should choose. There's so many. But
thanks for joining us for another podcast episode. And we will see you guys in our next one.
Give us some suggestions of what to name this because we have no idea.
Right now it's just
Brooke and Taylor
podcast episode number blank.
Literally. Okay. Cool.
Bye.
Have a great day.
Got that new Bugatti, play my music when I'm driving. Like them Lil Weezy, tattoos all over my body.